Howdy, friends and floorheads. It is episode 30 of Forbidden Lands. As you can see, if you look above Brian's head, you can tell that I did not think we'd make it this far, and thus using Roman numerals. So this is not episode triple X. This is, in fact, episode 30.
Welcome to Forbidden Lands After Dark.
We've got a lot to cover. Just real quick, though, stay for the after credits. We have a trivia contest for the cast members that was put together by two patrons who went back and watched all 29 episodes and put together some questions to ask the cast. And it's impressive. You don't want to miss it. We left ourselves in quite a situation. We went down to the Stone Loom Mines. Had a rough time of it until we had a rough time of it. In that process, Aldrich has now lost his foot. We took a day or two to climb back up through the mines. When we got back outside at ground level, we found Rook, who was camping in the ruins just outside the entrance to the mines. And Rook brought you into the tent, Aldrich, and got you comfortable. And then something really odd happened. He asked you if you would like to speak to her or would be okay to speak to her. You said yes. He closed his yellow eyes and we saw some sort of steam-like energy exude from him and then form into something to the right of him. And where we left off is you realizing this wasn't her. In fact, it was him, and it was Dalb, who was the original minstrel you met way back when with the yellow eyes back in Weatherstone. But before we start in the tent, we need to go outside of the tent. So we have got Osric and Sten outside. Osric, you are working on setting up camp, which we've already rolled for. Sten, you've made it clear that you wanted to stay near the entrance of the tent, but kind of keep an eye on things. I don't know. Is there any type of conversation happening between the two of you, or are you both working in silence?
Sten is not going to start a conversation unless spoken to. He is not in a real good mood.
I feel like after everything's all set up and the tents are put up and that kind of stuff, and I think Osric's gonna find himself a spot by the fire and sort of poke at it, like channel his inner Lou and make sure that the fire is still up but not overly roaring.
And if I remember correctly, we're taking advantage of the fire that Rook already put into place because he'd already built that shelter thing, which seems to be a Raven Sister thing with that's over that to disperse the smoke. So it's not as easy to spot that from far away. Vasilla was sent on an errand by Rook, was asked to pick up some berries. So we saw Vasilla leave the tent, go running by both Osric and Sten and head out into the wilds, following the directions Rook gave you. But I'm not going to let you get away with this without doing a foraging roll. So let's make it easy. Just do a survival roll.
My best skill.
Okay, so we currently have 2 banes and no successes. We can push this and hope for a success.
Want some willpower?
With the 2 remaining die.
Wait.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. And but if not, we're gonna have to do a foraging mishap.
The berries are right there.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna push it because I'm worried pretty strongly about Aldrich. So I think we're gonna push.
Okay.
Yeah. Nope.
All right. So 2 damage to wits. Where does that put your wits?
2. I'm at 2.
Okay. Let's quickly do foraging mishap.
Ending right where we left off.
And a surprise twist. Bessie dies first.
Find my mishap.
How funny
here.
would it be if bears show up?
Of all the things on
And
that
maul me
chart.
to death. Bears show
Mhm.
up and maul me to death. That'd be amazing.
Cue the Alanis Morissette.
So, Vasilla, you kind of get out of earshot of everybody, and you're now where you've never been before, right? So the direction you came from is not where you are now. This is all unfamiliar territory. The clearing of the ruins is now behind you. Rook pointed in a direction, and that's the direction you ran. You are now kind of working your way through brush and bushes, checking for these berries, which he looked to indicate was maybe a little bit smaller than a golf ball. I do need to get a sense of what is going through Vasilla's head. Did she think she was just going to find them immediately? Like, what are you thinking right now?
Yeah, I think she did. She just like, well, they're right over there. He's a good dude. They're like right over here, and then she just ran out without thinking, without like considering, and just kept moving. And then now she's ripped up. Like I think it was raining, if I remember correctly.
There was a light drizzle. It has
Yeah.
stopped since, but yes, now it's just partly cloudy. But yeah,
So like probably a little cold because of the water on her, and like ripped up from like digging at vines and spikes and things. And so I think she just like tuckers out for a second. Eventually she was just like ah,
and that explains the damage to wits, which is good. But I'm having you on your hands and knees, Vasilla, and just kind of pulling this brush down and looking, and there's no berries, and you kind of crawl over to the next bush, and it's just like you stand up and trying to get a sense to, was this the direction that Rook pointed me towards? And you hop back down on your hands and knees, and you're crawling, and you're making a good bit of noise. I think maybe you're getting more and more frustrated.
Mhm.
So you may not have heard it at first, but in a moment of silence, you hear the and against your feet, even to the ankles, you can feel its hot breath right behind you. Let's cut to inside the tent. Aldrich, you're
Hi.
laying there. You're watching this vision form to your left, to the right of Rook. And once it's clear that it's Dalb, which I'm imagining may have taken you a second to kind of piece together, like when you're walking down the street and you see somebody, you're like, I know you from somewhere, but I don't know who you are. It takes you a moment, right? And then you realize it was the old man that was teaching Vasilla that song back in the castle at Weatherstone, where we encountered the dead king and the monster in the moat. And there's silence as he looks at you. And when he reaches his hand down to your ankle, if you thought it was a vision, you immediately realize it's not. Because not only do you feel his hand touch your wrapped wound, but you feel the warmth from his hand. So this isn't a vision of Dalb. It appears it is Dalb. And he looks down at your ankle and the missing foot. And he looks back up at you and he goes, I never wished this for you.
I should hope not. But it's the nature of things. It's hazardous.
Were you able to find Viridia?
No. The mines were mines were stalwart in keeping us from anything. Seemed every turn we made, yet another obstacle until it all kind of caught up with us.
And as you're talking, he's nodding. What does this mean for you?
Not sure. I don't think I'm climbing through mines like this anymore. I can barely walk anymore.
If it's okay, I think you might need a little bit of sleep.
I would like that.
I'm going to step outside and talk to your friends. And all I ask is no drastic decisions are made until all of us get around the campfire. And I'll keep us safe until then. Is that fair?
Fair enough.
And he puts his hand to your forehead, Aldrich. And again, you feel the calluses on his fingertips where he plays his mandolin. You feel the warmth from his hand. And then you're out within seconds of feeling his hand. Sten, you hear some noise coming and not sure what you thought was coming out of that tent. But it probably isn't who does step out of that tent. And the way he steps out, Sten, it's very obvious from his body language that he doesn't feel he's a surprise.
The first thing Sten does when he sees him step out of the tent is walk over and pull the flap all apart and check on Aldrich.
You see Aldrich there with Rook, and he's sleeping. He's okay, old man. He's okay.
It's like, is he?
He's okay. I don't know if he's going to get better, but today
you don't know if he's going to grow his foot and his arm back?
That's not going to happen.
I know
that's
that.
not going to happen. And I know you're angry.
You think?
Is everybody else okay?
Enough. I mean, did Osric still have an eye issue?
Oh, it's just a scratch.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Well enough.
I fear the boy's not going to continue.
No, he can't. He'll die out here.
But I do need to know if the three of you will.
That's rich. I'm not in a position to tell anybody else or speak for anybody else as far as what they're going to do. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure Aldrich gets home safe. If I go back into these mines again, it'll be to get those poor benighted dwarves out of there.
What dwarves?
Not my place to say. Some other poor fools who went down there thinking there might be treasure. Did just about as well as we did.
Did you see them?
Did we get his name? Do you remember? I don't remember.
Don't think
if
so.
We
I
did.
believe so.
But
It was a her.
Okay.
The leader was referred to as a...
the leader was.
Right,
yes,
the leader
but-
was the one, but we didn't get the name of the one we talked to.
Oh, no, not of the dwarf you encountered, no.
Okay. Because he said they were coming to reclaim the mines.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing any more treasure hunting for you.
You're not doing this for me, old man.
You're right, I'm not.
Good. Where's the little one?
Picking berries to try and make some kind of poultice or something.
Kind of gives gives a bit of a nod and a little bit of pride in his face. But you know, the kid sent him off for berries. Good for him. You know, kind of that look on his face. Vasily, you feel breath at your feet and in your ankles. And when you kind of turn back to see the source of it, you see a large snout with two large tusks. And we've got a boar.
Guys, you don't have to call me names.
And we're going to have to do some initiative, unfortunately.
Oh no.
Where's my
Got tired of Vasilla too.
Because I wouldn't pay him his $50.
It's so close to bear.
All right.
So
So
I
let
picked
me
from the draw initiative card to roll the die.
give me just a second. I need to reset the initiative table here. All right. Select your token and roll initiative for me.
And that's
Or
the
draw.
die by my portrait, not the number
Okay.
one down the bottom.
Draw
left,
the
right?
card, right?
Draw the card. Yeah.
That is a number one.
How many cards do you want? One card, please. One card only.
I would like two, but I'm not allowed.
All right. And then our boar also draw a card.
Oh.
Okay. So as you turn around, I think it might be the smell of the fear that sets it off. And it is going to try to get you with its tusks.
So I'm going to dodge.
All right, let's go
Oh,
ahead and do
certainly.
that dodge.
Come on, man.
Do you want to push your dodge?
Mother crapper. No, I'm just going to use my halfling talent afterwards.
Okay, and what does that do?
I'm publishing now. So I get to use willpower to avoid being hit by physical attacks. Every willpower spent eliminates one success from the attack roll.
All right, so we had a total of 2 successes. How much willpower are we
I
spending?
have 2 because that's how many wits I've recently lost and gained willpower for.
Okay, let's go ahead and spend it. So you take no damage. So what exactly happens, you slippery little halfling, that prevents these tusks from boring into your calf?
So I think so I'm on my hands and knees, right? And I think I just like grab the pricker bush and like slam it down and like pull myself away, and so he slams his face into this pricker bush, into the hard wood of it.
Yeah, and his tusks get driven down the edge of the bush, and you see it scraping against the bark of the stem of this, and the bush is just it's just creaking and at the strength of this boar, and once it hits the soft ground, you see it kind of pull back, and it's your initiative, sir.
All right, so I'm going to so what's my surroundings, right? So is it like very dense?
I have you in pretty dense brush, right? And you've got an animal with a good snout on it, so I don't know how much visual shenanigans are going to work. I think you're going to have to beat its scent more than you're going to have to beat its eyes.
Okay, so I'm going to get out my magic flute that makes me into a ghost, and I'm going to begin to play it. And then I'm going to try to walk away from this creature as a ghost.
So we have you scrambling away, pushing this bush to kind of distract the boar. The boar pulls back. You reach into your pouch. You pull out the flute. I need a performance roll from you.
All right.
This is something you're good at.
Yay.
No benefit. No benefit to pushing.
Okay, so I will not push.
So you start to play. And that same experience that happened the first time happens again when you're a scientist, Vasilla, trying to figure out exactly what's happening. This bubble seems to form around you that makes things unreal, and almost if the surroundings are painted, not actual objects that you can touch, and you can feel your feet get soft into the ground. And you're going to have to answer this for me. When this boar charges you, how much confidence does Vasilla have in the experiments she's done so far? Does she react to this charge?
She does, but I think I think I don't think she reacts, but I think she goes into like she doesn't keep the metronome flat, right? Like suddenly the the rhythm of the piece I'm improvising gets a little bit fast, but I don't think she doesn't pay attention. She's like playing
And the
along.
boar doesn't hit you directly. It would have missed you had you been solid, but you see the boar come at you, come off to your side, and you see parts of this boar pass through your body and come to a stop and turn, and it's kind of shaking its head, and you see it smelling, and it seems to be trying different directions, and it seems confused, as if it's getting mixed messages, that it's making eye contact with you, but it can't seem to smell you, and it's just frantically going, and out of sheer instinct goes to charge you again and passes again straight through you.
I'm going to try to calm myself down, and I'm going to just walk in the direction that I think is the correct direction while playing my flute.
Could I get a quick insight roll from Sten and Osric?
Insight, you say?
That is a skill.
It's not my best work.
Well, you're a human.
No, I ain't got no willpower, Corbin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we used a lot of our resources.
He had
to
too
try
many
not to
ants to
die.
shoot through.
It's true.
So we cut back to the campsite, and Sten, it doesn't seem like Dalb wants to lock horns with you. He's whatever barbs you're throwing his way, he's taking, and in no way is pushing back. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Which
of course just makes me madder.
Sure. But he's not being dismissive of you either.
Mm-hmm.
He's very calm. The first time you met him was the first time you saw the eyes outside of the stag. Now you've got far more context about these eyes, even down to Rook having the same eyes. And you see him about to say something to you, Sten, and he stops himself. And you see him kind of look off to where Vasilla went.
I'd follow his gaze.
Well, you hear two things. You hear the animal. You can't tell what the animal is.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear the flute.
Yeah, shit. And start moving in that direction.
So you start heading in that direction. Osric? You have not picked this up, but you see Sten's
I
reaction.
get to see Sten moving. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna ask him what he hears and get up as well.
Little one found something, or it found her.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna draw my. What is it? A trident? Is that what
Your
that is?
trident?
I think, yeah.
Or were you still borrowing my axe?
Oh, I do have
Yeah.
that battle axe.
Heart scar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll do that instead. We'll draw that battle axe, and I'm gonna head in that direction.
So you two head that way. Between the noises, Sten's survival abilities, there's no rolls needed or anything. You guys know exactly where to go. Dalba's not following you. You head, and above the brush, you see the top of this sphere that you saw once before. And it's the source of that muffled flout sound. But you can't see her, but you know it's her, right? You know what that is. And it's walking, not running, it's kind of walking towards you. Behind it, you see the separation and the movement of the brushes, which corresponds to the sound of the animal.
All right. Well, Sten is going to try and get into a position where he can get a clear shot. You know, if there's like a clearing or anything, it will go into if it follows that path.
You might have to go up. You might have to get to a tree if you're going to try to get above from where
Okay.
you are. I don't know if you could see down on this thing unless it were to come out of this brush. I don't have you in the brush yet, but if you want to work your way into the brush, you can.
No, I mean, if there's something I can get up on, that would be better.
Sure. Let's have a tree right there, and you start to work your way up the tree, Osric.
And the sphere is opaque, right? Like I can't see
Correct.
Vasilla in it. And she has to play the flute, so she can't talk to me. Stupid flute.
Hey man, you be nice to this flute.
That stupid flute saved her life.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna say, Lass, are you all right? And know that she can't respond.
One toot for yes, two toots for no.
And you hear she doesn't respond. She continues to play.
Can I hear him say that?
Muffled. So you can tell you're not alone anymore.
I'm just gonna have to hope it's my friends.
I think you recognize it. I think you recognize it as Osric's voice.
Okay, but not like Charlie Brown teacher, but Osric's voice Charlie Brown teacher.
Yeah. I don't know if you can completely make out what Osric said between the sound that you're making, the rustling, this boar like following you, almost stalking you, but not on the hunt. Like the boar doesn't know what the hell you are.
Yes, that's fair. And I'm sure my heartbeat is like going out of control. Like just because I've played so many instruments, I think is the only reason I can have the awareness. It's not really like awareness, it's just rote practice.
I think I'm also going to like move to, I guess I want to say the opposite side from where Sten would be, as far as like if Vasilla's coming at like 12 o'clock, I want to be at like 2, so that I'm off to the side and like the orb will not touch me, because it kind of freaks me out.
Understandable. All right, so let me quickly, I added you guys to the battle. Select your tokens for me. Let's go ahead and draw initiative.
There's a 3 choice.
All right, so we have Osric first. Now, this is a new round, and now because it's more than just Vasilla, you guys can actually do some switching around. So right now we've got 1, the boar, and then 2. Do we want to change the order?
Yeah, I'm happy to go last.
I'm just gonna let you go first and move out of the way.
I mean, do you want me to take a shot and draw its attention? Because if I'm up in a tree, it may have a harder time getting to me and may expose itself.
Like, have we seen the boar?
I don't think we
No.
have.
Okay.
You've heard it, though. And
I
at this
just don't wanna
time,
go
you're
first then.
close enough, Osric, that you can tell there's an animal.
Okay.
And you can, by the rustling of the brushes behind Vasilla, you get a sense of the size of this thing. This thing is like 5 Vasillas.
I just don't want to go first.
All right, so I'm going to put Sten at 5.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to put Osric at 2 and Vasilla at 3. Why didn't it change it for me?
Sounds like 9.5 now. What's he got going on there?
I
Yeah, I
think
don't
he
know
just
what's going
changed then to just 9.5. Somehow.
I may have changed the wrong thing. So hold on a second.
There we go.
Aha.
There we go. Sorry about that.
All right.
All right, I got us. All right, so Sten,
Mm-hmm.
you can't see this thing yet, but you can
Okay.
you can easily see where it is.
Mm-hmm.
So you can take a shot at this point in the initiative. You're just going to be at a -2.
You know what? I'll do that because either I'll encourage it to run away, or I'll we'll see what happens.
Great.
All right. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to add sharpshooter. I'm going to add my artifact die because I'm so darn good at shooting. It's a D8, I think. Gotta look back. Yeah. And then I will subtract 2 dice from the total and roll. Okay. I'll take that.
As you should. That is good. So, Sten, the arrow flies, and as it's leaving, you're feeling good about it, and you don't see the arrow hit, but you see the end of the arrow when it stops. So you know it didn't hit the ground, and the squeal you hear allows you to know immediately you're dealing with a wild boar. That's a sound you have heard before. You have hunted these before.
Mhm.
And that sound just screams as this thing, obviously you hit its back.
Okay.
And the arrow goes out of sight. The first half of the arrow goes out of your sight into the bushes. It stops. You hear that squeal, which tells you that the arrow landed, and then you see a drop. And the arrow didn't go deeper. The body must have reacted. So you can still hear it. You can still hear it squealing, but you got it off its legs, at least for a moment.
Well, I'm in the mood for some pork chops tonight, so I am going to take another shot
Okay.
now that I have a pretty good idea of where it is.
And so it's only going to be at a -1 now because of that.
Okay. All righty, come on. Da-da-da. There's that. That just offsets that. Okay. I am nothing if not consistent tonight.
Realizing that you must have hit its back
Mhm.
based off of the height when the arrow stopped, the fact of the way it dropped. Stan, if it's okay, I'm going to have you estimating if I go 2 foot closer to me, if this thing was
Mhm.
facing me,
Should be a headshot.
and when you hear the squeal, almost stop immediately.
Mhm.
You're and you see the brush move to the side. So now instead of just dropping down off its legs, it has
Mhm.
fallen to its side. And Basilo, looking behind as the arrows are flying over your head, looking behind, you see the first one go into this thing's back, and you see it buckle its legs. And the second one hit it straight right above the eyes in the center of its forehead, and the body falls. Osric, I need an empathy roll, please.
I don't want to. No.
No, bro.
I have no empathy for the boar, and also probably all of the bad things that will happen because of the flute song.
And Sten, can I also get an empathy roll?
Oh, I don't feel bad for boars.
No, this is the flute song.
No, is it? No. Brings a tear to me eye
No,
or something.
no, it doesn't, Sten. You've killed many an animal. You've killed animal for game. This is an animal to protect someone you at least care about a lot, right? So there's no sadness whatsoever. In fact, your joke about pork chops, I think that may have gone through Sten's head.
Oh yeah, for
Like,
sure.
For sure.
For sure.
I think we now know what we're having for dinner.
Yes, exactly.
So this bubble emerges from the bushes. Vasilla, do you keep playing now that the boar is down, or do you stop?
No, I'm gonna stop because I'm gonna need to take a breath.
So the music stops, and the sphere just kind of dissipates away. Instead, you knew it was the flute. You could hear the flute. You could see the flute in her hands. And Jesus, that's a pretty flute. And I don't know if you've really looked at it closely before, but now you do. I'll let you figure out why. But the only thing you care about right now, Sten, is you need to get a hold of that flute. You tell me why, but that's the drive that you have right now. And it is the only thing you can think about.
Huh.
I mean, Sten doesn't know why, but I think he's just gonna come over and you all right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good
Didn't
thing
find
you,
the berries and I almost got killed.
good thing you had that little flute with you.
Yeah.
Why don't I go take a look for those berries, and maybe I'll hang on to that flute while I go, just in case.
Vasilla, I need an empathy roll, please.
It is precious to me.
It's Sten's birthday.
Yeah,
My
you're not gonna.
imagining-
You're not. It's. You know what? I don't know why, Vasilla, but it's a really bad idea. This is. It's. You know what this flute's capable of, and you know how to play it. And I don't think it's a good idea for Sten to get his hands on that flute.
Greg, we don't need more problems. Besides, I succeeded at my empathy roll.
I know you did.
Uh-huh.
Look, you don't even play the flute.
Yeah, but maybe I'd like to learn.
Well, when you get back from going for the berries, we'll show you at the camp.
Can I just have a look at it?
No. I mean, like, you look with your eyes, not with your hands. That's what my mom always said.
I feel like Osric is going to, sort of like kind of give Sten this look like, are you all right, old man?
And
Yeah,
Sten's
and
not even looking over there.
And Ostrich, something smells wrong.
And I think he's gonna knock him on the shoulder and say, hey, why don't you help me with this boar? We'll bring it back to camp.
I mean, I did just kill the boar that was trying to kill you.
It's true.
Are you even
Sure, but-
reacting to Ostrich?
No, I mean, I'm from what you're telling me, Craig.
Mhm.
Sten
Oh.
is a little obsessed right now.
Oh no, yeah, no, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
You did just kill the boar. But then why
Just let
do
me
you
hold
need
on to that flute for a minute.
I mean,
I haven't even had a good look at that thing since you found it.
yeah, but you're trying to. Why would killing boars need a flute?
I'd just like to take a good look at it.
Well, you look with your eyes. Look, I'll hold it up, but like firmly in two hands. And like, see, I'll turn it.
I need you to describe the flute again. I for some reason I thought it was like a tiny, like a pan
Like a
flute.
piccolo.
Yeah, I'm imagining it's probably just shy of 1.5 feet long.
Okay.
It's made of some sort of bone ivory. It's got these carved etchings that go from one end to the other, but they're very intricate. And when played, you saw very clear blue illumination coming from these carvings. But even when not played, out of the corner of your eye, even while she's holding it right now, you feel like you can see a glint of blue here, and a glint of blue there that kind of travels like electricity across these runes.
So Craig, here's my situation. I feel like, if this is something that is got a hold on Sten's mind somehow, his next step would be to try and grab it away from her.
Okay.
I also think that is very anathema to the kind of thing that Sten would do to
Fair.
Vasilla. So I'm wondering, this is the kind of thing I would spend a willpower on if I had it. Would it be possible for me to make another roll?
I think that makes sense
Because
to me.
it's-
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense to me. And I think I want it to be, I don't think I want it to be an empathy roll.
Good, because that's my worst stat.
Yeah, I think I want it to be a wits insight roll.
Okay.
And here's my thought here, and you guys tell me if you're okay with this. So we've got the emotional part that has brought Sten to this point. And Sten is acting strange enough that immediately Osric recognizes this. Immediately Vasilla recognizes this. This is an obsessiveness that we have never seen from Sten. And it's quite frankly, maybe a level of emotion, of emotional energy coming from Sten that we may never have encountered before. And Osric is like, "You okay, old man?" And kind of jostles him a little bit physically to shake him out of it without shaking him out of it. But I think all of that would make the rational side of Sten's brain potentially kick in. So that's why I'm thinking an insight roll here. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Great.
Now, just because of how the empathy roll went, I'm going to ask, do I want to succeed at this or fail?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Of course you're not. Thanks, Craig. You're the best.
For clarity, if you try to take that flute from her, I'm going to.
Oh, it's going to go real bad. It's going to go real bad. I know this.
That is one success on the insight roll. And what that means is we need a 10-minute break. We'll be back in 10 minutes.
Oh.
So I'm imagining several things happen at once. Sten, there's a kind of a blinking of the eyes and a bit of a shaking of the head. And it's a combination of the physical jostling and the tone that came from Osric. It's Vasilla taking, instead of quickly figuring out, instead of putting this flute in your face, maybe putting the flute back in the pouch would be smarter. All of that happens at once. And what I would like, if you're okay with it, Brian, is I would like for Sten to not need the flute anymore, but I don't know if Sten feels weird about wanting it. Does that make sense? Do you think that's a needle we can thread? Or
I mean, does he remember?
Oh, he remembers
wanting it.
He does. And in your mind, I feel like it makes perfect sense to you. Like, you haven't really seen the flute. It sounded really good. It's beautiful. And you haven't touched it. I mean, Aldrich got to touch it. Vasilla's held it. And what's the big deal? Is what I feel like was going through Sten's mind. But you're okay now. So I'm going to let you, Brian, figure that out. I think if I'm off, you tell me if I'm off.
No, I'll take that. I think when he has time to reflect on it, Sten is suspicious enough of like magic items that he'll probably start to suspect that there's something going on.
Yep.
But for right now, I think he's just going to say, "Fine, have it your way," and go and start dressing the boar.
Once he passes by me, I'm going to look at Osric and be like,
Precisely that, right? Oh God.
Is he okay?
I can't imagine what that was about. So I think my plan is to go huck the boar over my shoulder and bring it back to camp to dress. Does that make sense? Or are you going to do that here?
No, you
Well,
definitely want
it
to get
make-
rid of the guts. It's so much of the
Yeah,
weight,
yeah,
Yeah,
and
you
it's
address it here.
super messy to do it at camp too.
and you don't want to get like the awful into the meat and stuff. You take out the guts right away.
So while Sten is cleaning the boar, what are Ostrich and Vasilla doing?
I'm gonna, I guess, go back to camp now that I know where it is. Actually, I guess I'm like, have you seen berries? I'm looking for. I'm looking
I'm
for.
just going to ask, have you found what you're looking for out here,
Have
Les?
you? No, I was looking for the berries, and then I just got scratched up and started thinking about everything, and then I don't know how long was I even gone.
It didn't seem like that long. Uh,
What kind of berries?
Well, they're gray and about this big, and I think they have like a couple spotted bits and some bumps.
Does that sound familiar to me at all?
No, and time is not an issue. So at some point during, because the dressing of that boar is going to take some time, Ostrich and Vasilla together can find these berries.
Okay.
perfect.
Cool. That
And if
was
it's
also-
okay, Vasilla, like you walked past them.
It's like they literally were right there at the edge of camp.
yeah, perfectly reasonable.
Oh,
I
we
need
do
my
need 2
physical-
arrow rolls. Good point.
Oh, yes, you do.
Yep. Thanks, Roll.
Thanks, chat. This is why we're in this situation.
That's why I've got no foot, chat.
Yeah, you're
This
always
was all
helping.
our own faults.
I feel like we really made it on Twitch stream. We get to yell at chat.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Sidewinder's happy it wasn't him. All right, so we've got a clean boar, which Ostrich, you're probably the best one to get that boar from where it is back to camp. We've got the berries as prescribed. You guys work your way back to camp. Dalba's sitting there. Rook is next to him. Dalba's kind of poking at the fire. The fire's a little bit larger, so they've obviously not only kept the fire going, but have grown the fire. And Dalb kind of leans over and goes, "You found her,
Mhm.
and you found
Right.
dinner."
What are you doing here?
I was summoned.
I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna look at Rook. I'm gonna look at Sten, and I'm gonna be like, see if he's about ready to shoot somebody.
I mean, there was a stretch when he was, dealing with the boar. He sort of was content, as happy you've seen him because he did a thing he was good at well. But now that he's back in Dalb's presence, he's starting to get cranky again.
Well, why don't you hold that thought? I'm gonna go see Aldrich.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Aldrich and
Rook's
check on
going to
him.
come with you, acknowledging that you found the berries.
Mhm.
So you and Rook go into the tent. Rook actually is going to kind of walk you through it. Initially, he goes to reach for the berries, and then he stops himself and he goes, "Do you want me to show you?" And the two of you together mush them down. He puts them into some leaves, the kind of the pulp and the juice and the skin. He says, make sure you include the skin. And you see him kind of put it into Aldrich's mouth. Aldrich is dead asleep. And you see him kind of rub it all inside his mouth and using the leaf, and just kind of, you can see him kind of coating the inside of his mouth with it. And he pulls the leaf back out and has you kind of put more of the mush in there. So you guys are administering and coating the inside of Aldrich's mouth with these berries. Outside, we've got Osric hanging up the boar at this point. It's already been cleaned, at least gutted, I should say. And Dalb is not initiating conversation. If someone's not talking to
Smart
him,
man.
he's back sitting on the ground next to the fire, just kind of poking at it.
Sten's just doing maintenance stuff, sharpening his knife, checking the arrows for straightness, that kind of thing. Not saying
Just,
a goddamn thing.
Confused. In my head, you're just doing an old timey cleaning the gun before the boyfriend shows
Yeah,
up.
pretty
move.
much.
Plucking the string of his bow.
Uh-huh.
So I think the most interesting headspace, we got to understand what's going on with Osric here. I mean,
I feel like Osric is wrestling internally with
do we understand? Does Osric understand Dalb? And Dalb's coming out of a tent he didn't go into?
Well, so I don't think Osric's been in that tent. So I don't think
Fair.
he knows that Dahl wasn't in that tent to begin with.
That makes sense to me.
So I think that the mystery of Dahl is not really, doesn't seem like a thing to be concerned about, beyond that, like, he
What
was
the
a
hell's he doing
mysterious
here?
man who disappeared, and the stag and the whole of that. So he is in and of himself strange and mysterious, but his appearance here is no more mysterious than, I guess, anything that has been related to either of them.
3 weeks ago when we left home, it would have been weird.
That's right. Yeah, like the first time, right? It's like, oh, but now it's sort of been like, oh, well, she shows up and then there's a stag or a bunny or whatever, right? There's just that's just kind of what happens with these folks now. But I think he's wrestling internally with the idea of how to broach attempting to save these dwarves in this mine, because I think, as Sten was saying earlier, right? It's like, the only reason I'd go back in would be to help those dwarves, but I'm not going to talk to you about those dwarves. So,
And I'm going to have us at midday. I don't know if anybody wants to do any quarter length activities, but I wanted to let you know that the first quarter of the day has passed.
I mean, I would love to spend some XP, but with Dalb in the camp, I don't think Sten's in the right
Fair.
headspace for it.
So go ahead, Vasilla.
Oh, yeah. So once I'm convinced that he's, get my lesson and convinced that Aldrich's okay, I'm gonna go and make myself tea and a little snack for everybody, not just for the big boar, but clearly there's tension in the air, and so the obvious way to fix that is to make a tea and cookies platter.
Eat your feelings.
And so I will do that.
Okay.
And I'll start making small talk about, I don't know, things.
And like what, Vasilla?
So I think I'm going to make small talk about I started asking Dahl about the history of a nursery rhyme and where it comes from, and oh, you've clearly been around forever now. You're some kind of old trickster god. Is this, is this from the old halflings? Is this a song about the old king? I always liked this rhyme. It always seemed more hopeful to me.
Do you actually slip in Trickster God?
Yeah, probably.
So he entertains this, right? So he entertains this and offers you some background, some old background, but talks about it in the present tense, which is a little weird. And kind of gives you the history of that song. And then at one point he stops and he goes, "You understand who I am, don't you?"
Not a clue.
And this is the point where Sten's just kind of doing this shink.
Here's all the list of facts I do know about you. You have yellow eyes. You're really bad at predicting the future. You get it on with a variety of creatures and animals to make rooks. And you can change shape. You have a beautiful singing voice.
You understand me more than okay. So you know I'm her, and we are us.
Like Rook is one of you, or is Rook a different, not you?
No, Rook's my child. I have several children throughout Ravensland, and through them, I can travel.
You're not like Raven, are you?
No, I'm no god. I'm just very, very old.
That's fair. So is Sten. You're a lot less cranky.
And in some ways, I'm too obvious. Which is why we need to talk when Aldrich wakes up about saving Ravensland. Aldrich, it doesn't taste bad, but it tastes sulfur medicinal with some sugar. And you don't remember drinking a lot, but your head is pounding. And the birds outside are excessively happy and loud. But the good news is there's no pain anymore at your wound on your right leg.
I think there's a half a moment where he's like, magic? No. Get up. Sit up. Anyone in the tent with me?
Nope.
Probably find something to support myself and hobble out of the tent.
As you come out to it, you see Sten keeping himself busy, as Sten will do. We see Osric. What do we see Osric doing right now? After an hour or two?
I think he's, sort of staring aimlessly at the fire.
So we have him by the fire. We've got Vasilla by the fire, drinking some tea and having some conversation with Dalb. And Rook is there, not sitting, but kind of standing behind Dalb, just being quiet. And all heads turn, as unfortunately you're not able to come out of that tent silently. You don't do anything silent right now.
I don't think Aldrich was trying.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys see Aldrich kind of crawling his way out of the tent.
I run over and help him.
Oh, thank you, Vessi. That's a hell of a pig. We cooking dinner?
Well, none of us can cook worth a damn, so I thought we'd give you a moment.
Let's get to it then.
Well, you can direct from there.
Yeah.
And we can have that. We can have Aldrich do that. So Aldrich, let's go ahead and do a roll for the cooking. And let's see if we can't convert that 4 meat into 4 food.
I think all I have to do is just roll a d6 and I can turn that much meat into usable food. Let me just throw cook up in there. Oh, that's adaptive. Chef, that's the one. And I have rank 2, so I just roll a d6 and that much plus 1.
Nice.
Roll it. And that's going to be all of that pig.
It is.
Nice.
All right. So we've got 4 die to distribute. Who wants to add a die?
I have none, so I would like to have some.
As discussed during the break, I have no weight to give, so
I mean, I can carry some for Vasilla if you want.
yeah, that would be great.
So if I'll take 2 dice and then maybe
Aldrich
and Osric?
will eat some of the pork, but he will notably not add any to his rations.
Okay. So do you want to can you take the other 2, Osric? Do you have room?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, so Sten adds 2 die and Osric adds 2 die. And we have the four of you around, Aldrich is kind of directing Osric and Vasilla on how to cook up this meat so that that'll store. Vasilla, you've started the conversation a little bit with Dalb. Dalb has shared a bit with you. And as soon as there's a little bit of a lull, as soon as Aldrich has finished kind of saying, now this and here, reach over here, there's some salt, Dalb goes, Rook and I can get you back to the sisters, Aldrich. And then if you want to go back home from there, I know the sisters will take you.
I think I would like that.
And he turns to you, Sten, and he goes, but what of the three of you?
I've told you how I feel.
And how about you, sir? Looks at you, Osric.
That scepter can't be anywhere near our home.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. The scepter should not go back with Aldrich. The scepter should stay with the three of you. We need to find the other four. Other five.
Next thing you know, there's going to be 6, Craig.
Yeah, keep taking your time. It gets bigger.
Right? What is
So
it? Like they're just
6.
throwing money at us? Like season 8 comes back from the dead.
I'm pretty sure we don't have to do anything.
This is true. But if the dwarves are trapped in the mines, I'm running out of options.
You said you got caught too cocky. By whom? Zertome? The demon thing?
I helped Martea and Marga and Zertome escape. I got them out of the Vale of the Dead and out from his view. The two women went to the mines. Zertome went to Amber's Peak. What I didn't anticipate is what would happen if Thorania and Zygofer were left alone. And I should have. She's his oldest. The two of them created Zytera. Zytera will destroy everything that we know.
Zytera the Demon King?
The only chance we have is to bring the elves back together. Put him in the crown. And then hope to him that that's enough to stop what they created. And I can't do this. Because
Why not?
it knows me. It knows I'm here. If I were to hold that scepter and you get one of the original elves in my hands, it would be visible. Now, either the dwarves have found Eridne, or Eridne is still in the mines. But we still need that. We need the 2 other loose stones. And if I'm right, the crown still has the other 3.
Like you were right about the dragon egg thing, Rock.
I told you I was not a god. And I am far from perfect. And my helping of Zygofer was wrong. Backing Zertome, wrong. It's very possible backing the 3-4 of you is wrong as well.
Well, you might as well try and find some more friends because you're burning through us pretty quick.
I'm not selling this as safe. I'm selling this as the only chance we have.
Greg, I realize this is probably pointless because this guy is this entity is thousands of years old or whatever, but I would like to make an insight roll to see if I have any inclination that they are playing us.
So no insight roll needed,
Okay.
because quite frankly, Daub was not trying to hide anything.
Mhm.
Daub is being shockingly straightforward. And here's what you can tell, Sten. And this is after listening to Daub talk now for a good bit, right? So you're not trying to capture a small snippet here, which I think I would want to roll for. You're listening and matching it up against everything that you know. He's not lying. And you know he's not saying everything, but is that because there's thousands of years of things to say? I don't know, but he seems very deliberate in his words when especially when he talks about Zygofer, the oldest Thorania, and talks about Zytera, the demon. He's very particular and he's slower when the next word leaves his mouth, if they're involved in that part, if that makes sense.
So he's choosing his words carefully.
Yeah.
What
If
were you
nothing
helping?
else, go ahead, Dave.
What were you helping Zygofer do?
Correct a mistake he made. He was trying to unite Ravensland, and Ravensland needed uniting. The humans were coming from the south, and they were bringing only destruction. And he kind of side-eyes Osric and Sten a little bit.
That's
And
what we're best at.
he says, and in that he unleashed and opened the portals. And that's how the demons got here. He brought them. I believed he was trying to correct that mistake. I'm not convinced that he was now. In fact, I think what him and Thorania did is proof that either he meant for the demons to get here, or once they got here, he's embraced them and he's using them like a fool. But he's no savior of Ravensland. And what he and his daughter have done will be the end of things.
But yet his son had a demon friend and is making demon boars and demon cow men, and you were supporting him.
He comes from the I understand the hubris and thinking to beat these creatures, we need to leverage them. They are just as fractionalized as you humans and you halflings. But even Zertome has too much of his father in him. I think about what Martea has become. I think about what Marga has become. They're all tainted at this point.
Demons and gems, dragons and crowns. Nonsense. These dwarves need our help now, and that's something we can do.
What are you?
What am I? I'm elf. Just an old elf.
And everybody's tainted and corrupted except you.
If you're asking if I have demon in me, there's no demon in me. But I'm strong. Strong enough to be visible. Strong enough to travel from those that I sire. Strong enough to take the form that I need. Part of the problems fall on me. I don't know if Zygofer and his eldest could have done it had I not advised ill-wittingly. I don't know if they could have done it on their own. I may never know that. I may never know how responsible I am.
I'm not saying we're going to do any more of your dirty work for you getting these gems back. But if we were to start going in that direction, we'd need some God's damn help. The four of us couldn't get to that in the mine. Now there's three of us.
And I can get you help. But it can't be me. Do you understand that?
I know you don't want to get your hands dirty.
No, it's not that.
Yeah, of course. I don't care what it is. You're not helping, but you need to give us something. Because we can't do this by ourselves.
Don't go to the mines until I come back. Let me make sure Aldrich and Rook make it safely to the sisters. And then I will come back and meet you here. And if you're not ready to go back to the mines, if you'd feel better building up some reserve, some strength, I think I know where the rest are. And I can point you in those directions as well.
Well, we're here and there's dwarves that need help. So if we're going anywhere, I think we're going here. But he sort of looks to Osric and Priscilla.
Have you tried to have other people help?
I have.
They've
And
all failed.
A group of them are in the mines right now, based on what you're telling me.
Party of dwarves.
They said she had them.
She's brave. But she may have, the mines have been too much for them. I don't know. I don't know what's happening down there.
Do the Rust brothers serve the Zagapher?
Oh, yes. They are well under his control. And now under, even more importantly and more deadly, are now under Zytera's influence. They worship it. And now that Zygafer and Thoreni are gone, all there is Zytera. But yes, you cannot let any of them near, especially the prince. If this prince knew that you had that scepter, all of Rust would be here right now.
That's a good thing we've kept it secret then. As much as we could.
Rust knows that where we came from. Is our town safe?
I can find out.
Take it as good faith if you would.
Let me take Aldrich back to the sisters' camp. Let me see what help I can give you to better your chances if you decide to go to the mines or go to the Eye or go to the Vale, wherever you're going next. And then as you set off, I will go to Oakenheart and then update you when we meet again.
Well, if you're going to Oakenheart, I don't know. I don't want to speak for you, Aldrich. Are you ready to go home?
I keep thinking about Vivi and her cousin.
I don't know. I'll
We go home, they're dead. We weren't out here.
I'm going to speak with the sisters and I don't know.
All right.
Make a plan.
All right. Okay, then.
Leave in the morning. Looking at you, Aldrich.
Leave in the morning.
Rook will pack up in the morning. And let's get Aldrich back to your camp. We're going to go to credits. We'll be right back. right, so a shorter than normal episode, which I warned the cast about because we have these amazing questions and a little bit of a celebration that we want to do. Before we get to the questions, though, let's there's questions in the chat, and that's really for you, Nate. Is Aldrich becoming an NPC?
Yes, Aldrich's retiring. It's not in him anymore. He can't do this.
Mhm.
And like I'm gonna miss him, but like I can't justify trying to push him through it.
Right.
It makes total sense to me. It
Yeah,
really does.
It's not the ending I expected for Aldrich, but it's a fitting one.
We expected Aldrich to kill everybody, is what we expected.
Or himself.
Definitely in a blaze of
There's
flame.
still time.
Mhm.
There's still time.
Bare minimum, himself and Ostrich.
Yeah.
So
I
for
feel like
those
you
of
should have kept that as a cliffhanger for next episode.
so
The writing's on the wall.
for next episode, this is the end of Aldrich. It's not the end of Nate. So Nate is still part of the cast. We're going to see Nate return very, very quickly. So just with somebody different. Could be somebody that Marigal / Dalb is hinting at as far as helping with our next phase. We'll have to see what happens there. So let's start with you, Nate. Stars and wishes in a relatively short episode. A lot though. We packed a lot in this episode.
Yeah. I mean, Star. I'm gonna go straight to Vasilij. Pulling the flute out. I love it.
You know what's so funny?
It's an Aldrich thing to do.
And you did that. I'm like, "Duh, of course, she's
Of
got
course, the
goddamn
flute.
flute.
Yep.
Mhm.
And it was in the back of my brain too, and I'm like, there it is.
GM Craig is
And-
like, God, am I going to kill fucking Vasilla?
Everything that came from that. Yeah, it's good. Wishes. Man, like it's gonna be hard, but I'm excited to see this next phase and this
Yeah.
kind of moving on moment.
Yep, got
It's
a
gonna
lot
be
more
tough, but-
information. Yeah. Yep, it'll definitely be interesting. Dave, stars and wishes.
I gotta go star to our man Aldrich here. I think he had to make tough choices, right? And like I think it's gonna be really interesting how it affects the group going forward. Like, so I guess my rolls into my wish, right? I feel like I don't remember what the time was, but I feel like there was like a definite end of season 1, like maybe it was Amber's Peak, right? And I feel like this is the end of season 2 kind
Yeah.
of thing, and like, and now the cast changes and like the tenor of the party changes, you know, and but now we have like the real quest, so it's just like, oh, like the hints of quest, right? Like, so I think, yeah, so I think my wishes are like I like the arc of the story overall, and gotta give props to Nate there for doing Aldrich's retirement. I think a fair service.
Wishes.
Happy with where we're at. My wish, I guess, when we go down the stone loom, is to not dungeon it out as much. I'm happy for the adventure, and I'm happy to go see what happens with the dwarves and completing it. But you know, walking room to room kind of thing was a nice break, but I don't prefer it as a main course.
Yeah, and you know, the one thing that Dalb said is that may not be the next step. Dalb made it clear that he has what he believes are leads on the crown and the other two
We're going
stones.
down because
Yeah,
Ostrich.
there's no way.
Like,
Yeah.
positively, we're not going there.
There's no way that we're walking away from these dwarves, gem or not.
And they're like 3 things of food, the 3 die of food that they have.
Mhm.
It's fine.
It's our food back.
Brian, stars and wishes.
Oh gosh, I mean, I certainly want to give a lot of respect to the way Nate handled Aldrich. I wish Aldrich's salary demands weren't so high that he had to be written out of the next season.
I tried to get Aldrich to sign, but oh my god.
Right. That next season contract, he just wouldn't do it.
Whoa.
He's a
Like,
stickler.
He really thinks the Superman movies are going to take off?
10%,
Come on.
10% of the $1.50 I make on each episode on YouTube is like, that's a lot.
But yeah, the same as everybody said so far, it's hard, but it's also nice to see a character who actually lives to retire in a system that can be
good
enjoyable as
point.
this one. But I think my actual star for the episode is gonna be the way that you played Dalb.
Oh, how so?
Because it's like, well, just the fact that he's coming at least a certain amount of clean, because I think he and you both sense that it's the only way he's going to get anything out of Sten. And obviously Sten is still suspicious as hell, but I think, his admission, yeah, I screwed up, I did a lot of bad things, I'm trying to fix it, otherwise everything is messed up, is the only shot he had at trying to get me back on board.
Yeah,
And
I think
it
so.
was
And I
really
think
well
that
played.
I don't think I'm talking too meta here, because I think the characters understand this as well. Dalb Marigold is running out of options, right? And I think that they don't think being cute anymore
Mhm.
when time is running out is going to accomplish anything.
Yep.
So I'm glad that came through. That makes me happy.
Yeah, for sure. And then as far as wishes go, I'm really interested in seeing Nate's new character. I hope they can also cook. And I hope they're
We'll think about it. We'll see if we can add that into their contract.
yeah, exactly. And
They signed up cheap.
Oh, good.
Level 1, easy.
But yeah, I'm looking forward, because I mean, this has been, even with player changes in the past, this has been the same for 30 episodes.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested to see how the dynamic is going to shift.
And it is, I don't want to talk about the new character, but the new character is not Aldrich.
No,
Nope.
for sure.
Yeah.
And
There's similarities, but
I think
not quite Aldrich.
Sten being Sten, I don't know. I mean, I think like everybody else is going to be friendly, but Sten is almost certainly going to be suspicious as hell as it starts out, and we'll have to see how that plays out.
Yeah. Jim, stars and wishes.
I think my star was the interaction between Sten and Vasilla around this flute. Like, just
It was
this
so
moment of,
weird, but so good.
I passed the roll. Like, yes, you did. Like,
I rolled good, Craig.
and then I'm just gonna go take it. It's like, oh geez, am I really gonna have to do this? So that was really fun.
It was well played too. It was well played.
As far as wishes, I think that like everyone else, I'm super excited and interested to see how this new character comes across. Also, to get to the bottom of this mine and take that next step on what is this journey for us, and hopefully find this gem so that we can figure out what we're going to do about the fact that it'll probably drain 1 or 2 attributes off of us, and that's just a lot to go around, even for 4 characters.
That's too obvious. Got to do something different.
Yeah.
And I'm going to
So
give you
like, no, I can't carry that. It would give everything away. I can't possibly.
and credit to you, Jim, because I believe Osric. I believe Osric, even especially with time and distance from what happened in the mines. I believe Osric when he says, "No, we're not walking away from this."
Yeah, there's like no way. There is no way that anybody could convince me that it would be better for us to, maybe one of the other
Go
gems is
somewhere
easier
else.
to pick
Yeah.
up. That's not
Big damn hero.
That's not like the point of this
Yeah.
exercise at this
It's
point.
very funny to me that Osric is the moral compass and has like the lowest empathy. He's just like, like people are, no, this is what you do. Why is that
it
what
doesn't
you do?
mean
You don't
it
get
doesn't mean he
people.
doesn't have empathy. It means it's very binary.
Yeah.
Right?
He
He's
does
got a
not have a
black-white moral
complicated
compass.
moral ethos.
Exactly.
He is
Exactly.
hard on the J if that was a real system.
All right. We ready for question 1? So the answer to all of these questions are numbers. And so we're going to do Price is Right rules, which is highest without going over. Everybody gets a guess. Everybody, once they hear all the guesses, has an opportunity to revise their guess. And Jim, I'm going to ask you to keep score for me, if you don't mind.
Jeez.
So if you want to bring up a notepad. So question number 1. Jim plays Osric since episode 7, and it often appears as if nothing can disturb Jim. solid like a rock, no matter what havoc is wrought in game. The same holds true for Jim's cats, who often could be seen traversing the camera feed from left or from the right, undisturbed and majestic, like only a cat is capable of. Now it's your turn to estimate. How often in 29 episodes did we see Jim's cat appear on camera?
So let me say, first of all,
Any one of the cats?
29 episodes, but he started in episode 7.
Correct.
So the math is already wrong.
Correct. So it's not 29, right? So it'd be 22, right?
Well,
28.
you just
Just
didn't
saying.
see them in 7 of them.
Yeah. There were 7
Obviously.
episodes where the cats
Oh,
didn't show up.
Right, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is it how many episodes are there a
Or
cat
how many
in?
times?
How
many
How
cats
many
sightings?
times
Did the
for all the
cat
cats?
did a cat appear?
God.
Man, that's a lot.
Yeah,
And,
pick a
and
cat,
those
pick
of
a
you in
cat.
chat, I'm expecting guesses from you as well.
Now,
So without going over.
my other question is, if like the same cat walks off screen and then shows back up 5 seconds later, does that count as
That's
2?
2.
Okay. Separate appearances.
So we got 22 total chances.
And just, I'm pretty sure they didn't show up at all today.
I didn't
You're
see any
wrong.
cats.
But that's
And 30 is not part of it.
Because they
That's
didn't
right.
have time to
This
count.
episode doesn't count, but
Yeah.
Right.
There are
just-
episodes where
there
they might
could
not
be
have shown
another
up.
one
Yeah.
in the whole of the 22 where they did not show up as well.
I'm going to go 34.
34 for Dave. And Dave, you get to revise that once you hear everybody else's guesses.
I'm going 30.
34 and 30.
Hey, Brian, you said 30. Craig, are you going to guess?
No, I have the answer in front of me.
Oh, of course you
Would not be very good at guessing.
do.
I'm going to go 26.
Oh.
Come on, Jim. They're your cats.
Yeah.
He's desensitized,
Like
like,
if you didn't
Aloy's
get
frogs.
that's right. If you didn't give
That's
them
true,
the
he doesn't
revised
see 'em.
answer, I would have said 27. I'm gonna go 28 is my guess. 28 is my guess.
All right. So we've got 28 from Jim. Brian,
30.
30. Nate
26.
and Dave said 35.
I'm going to drop down to 31 because I was
34,
at
31.
34. So I'm going to
Oh, okay.
31. Any other
You get a
revisions?
$1 me.
Are we good?
good.
Locking our answers?
Locking them in.
Final answer.
The correct answer is 35.
Oh my
Oh, man,
gosh.
I was
That is
one
a
off.
point to Dave.
Ah,
And Dave
30?
backed down from him. You said 34. I'm like, holy shit, look at this.
Right.
All right, so a point to Dave.
35, huh?
So
Wow.
follow-up discussion. For each of these characters, let's assume they all have a pet that they left in Oakenheart. What is that pet? So Vasila, what pet did you leave in Oakenheart? A pet?
I think she had I think she probably has a cat. I mean, I imagine that there's a bunch of farm animals, and she's befriended all of them at various times. But like, the cat's the real one. It's been alive as long as she has. They grew up together.
Aldrich?
I think there's not even necessarily his, but there's an old horse that he's particularly fond of.
I could see that. One of his shoes, right? As part of the blacksmith. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Sten?
Sten, I think, had an old hunting dog, that was like as
Oh.
old and
That's why I didn't say
arthritic as
dog.
like a bloodhound or something.
Yeah.
And I feel like he would never have left it. So I feel like the fact that that dog passed is probably what drove Sten to finally leave town.
totally believe that.
Mhm.
Osric?
I'm thinking some sort of dog as well. I feel like it's like a stocky sort of like maybe a mastiff kind of dog.
Big
I
dog.
could see it. Yeah.
Big dog. Did who's taking care of the dog now, Osric?
I think whoever
Don't give me a name because I'll kill him.
That's good because I'm really.
I was going to
really
say
bad
it's
at
probably going to be
naming.
Aldrich.
He's
when he
going to
gets
kill
home.
the dog.
Yeah. No,
Look,
I think
next
it's
character,
whoever's
John Wick.
the current captain of the guard of the town is taking care of the dog. 'Cause the
Excellent,
dog
excellent.
probably also, acts as a service
A watchdog.
that helps keep rounds and things like that.
All right, so we got Dave with a point. Question number 2. Let's move on to Nate, who has played Aldrich since episode 1. Nate, you seem to possess unlimited amounts of happiness, enthusiasm, and optimism, regardless of the dark hours that Aldrich had to suffer through. Especially Aldrich's magic proved to be both useful and baneful, especially when magic mishaps occurred. But how often did a magic mishap occur during the campaign so far? In the first 29 episodes, how many magic mishaps have we encountered? Thanks to Aldrich.
I think it's 5.
Okay.
I also think it's 5.
All right.
It's like 4 or 5. It's got to be. I'm going 5 though. Uh-huh.
I'm like
It's a
counting
very-
them in my. I'm like
Yeah,
walking,
for
I'm
sure.
walking through the
It's a
adventure
very
right now.
thinkable problem.
I
I think that's 5.
There's that one. Like, how many of them am I like directly involved in?
Yeah, I'm like, how
One
many
more than
teeth
actually
did
happened?
Ostrich lose due to mishaps? I'll go with the 4 guess just to differentiate.
4.
I think it is 5. I really
Oh,
do.
I'm sorry. So clarification. It's more than 1 because 1 was caused by an NPC. So
Right, but we're only talking about Aldrich.
Wait. Say that again.
So yeah, so my number I'm looking at is different. I assumed it was all
Okay.
Aldrich's. One of these that I'm looking at was caused by an NPC. I just got clarification from Rue that put in there. So I'm just changing the number. So it's all
Aldrich.
Aldrich.
Okay.
Thank you, Rue.
So the one that got reversed doesn't count.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's 4 then.
Okay. So 4. Are you staying with 5, Sten?
I'm staying with
Or
5.
Brian? Jim?
It's changing to 4. So I got to go back through my list again. See if I was counting the one that you're counting.
Jim's so cautious.
Yeah, I think I'm sticking with 5.
Okay. And
I'm
Dave?
sticking my 4. That's fine.
7.
Wow.
Whoa, I'm
Glad we're getting
forgetting
rid of that
some.
character. He's dangerous.
Right?
All right. So hungry,
Hungry,
thirsty,
thirsty.
fire,
There's like 2 thirsties.
disease. Was there 2 thirsties? I knew there was another one in there
Yes.
I
somewhere.
think there was 2 thirsties.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the
One
other
of
ones that we're
thirsties
missing?
Is the
The
other
reversal
guys, right?
though, which is why, yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
Think
There's
so.
the teeth.
Teeth.
Oh,
Right?
you're right.
I got drained of
Yeah,
water
he's
or whatever.
actually-
Yeah.
Not thirsty.
Hydration. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
I forgot the hunger. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I should have
Where-
guessed higher.
Jesus.
Two
Oh, well.
hungers?
There's one hunger,
'Cause I
right?
know there was like a hunger in like.
There's like a hunger and like 2 thirsties, I think.
Yep.
I
And the
don't remember,
disease
Jesus.
and the
the
fire.
disease.
Seven. Wow.
Every
Do we
single
have an
one of them
actual
could have
list?
killed you.
Yep.
All right.
Every
so
single one of them could have turned
so
me into a
I think-
demon.
I think 5 was the highest. And who stayed with 5? Anybody?
Brian and I did.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So Brian and Jim both get a point. We've got everybody tied in first place, but Nate.
That's a way to put
Question
it.
question number 3. And now for Brian and Dave, who have portrayed Sten and Vasilla since episode 1 and 7, respectively.
99 times.
You are the dynamic duo of the Forbidden Stream, and whenever the very different personalities of Sten and Vasilla clashed in game, we viewers were delighted and entertained. Which leads us to the next question. This is a really good one. How often, I still can't believe you guys watched 29 episodes. Rosu
counted this?
and Pragmatic. I can't believe you did this. How often did Brian take off his glasses because of something that Dave
Whoa!
had just said or done?
Wow.
Wow!
Hardcore.
Oh no! There's another one.
Today doesn't count.
So we can't count. We can't count before 7. So
Oh
because
my
Dave
God.
wasn't there. So how
Oh.
often?
22
How often did
episodes.
Vasila say something that caused Brian to take off his glasses?
That's a great question. I
I
don't.
feel seen
Uh,
in a creepy way.
Oh my God.
22 episodes.
I'm going to say 10.
We go lucky 13. It's got to be more than that, but oh.
Oh,
I'm going to stop looking at chat because
17 is my answer.
I'm gonna go. I think it's like more than that. So if I'm on 22 episodes, it's gotta be at least once per episode, probably multiple
Yeah.
times.
You know, I
So
was
it's
trying to. I was
like
you think it happens
I
every
40?
20
I don't
like
think
because
it
we're playing
might-
Price is Right, I should guess like whatever, one more than Jim, but like
18?
I would guess 40. We'll go 40.
Did you
Okay,
say
so-
40?
Yeah, well
40.
probably let's go 30. 30 is a safe range. But if it's 22 times, 22 streams and more than once some of those times.
Actually, I'm gonna add 10. I'm going to 23.
Okay, so we have 23 from Nate, 30 from Dave.
I've got 17 and Brian's got 10 at the moment.
I'm going to 1. I don't think it's that many. I think it's less than 17.
He is playing the game.
Yeah.
Brian's playing the game. He thinks you're all over.
I'm happy where I am at 17.
The point goes to Brian because the answer is 14.
Ooh.
Not quite one an episode. Darn.
No, you got to up your game.
Right?
Ah, you need to make Vasila
Challenge
more annoying.
Lovable.
All right. Question
Lovable.
number 4. With great power comes great responsibility. We all know this line, and it's true in the Forbidden Lands as well. There were slight cuts and bruises that were massively devastating blows. I think you know what's coming. How often were 5 or more points of damage dealt in a single blow, including magical attacks?
Is that to us and by us?
All total. Any attacks that were 5 or more dealt in a single attack.
I'll
We got a solid 15.
Yeah.
Hey. I'll go to 16 then.
All right, 16 from Nate, 15 from
it went up.
Dave.
There's been some big ones, but it's not an always thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might
There-
only be 10
there've
or
been, like-
8 or 9, but
A few episodes that had like no rolls.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
true.
But there's also ones where you and Sten
Just
went
go
Yeah,
off on
ham.
a bunch
Definitely
of
true.
minions.
Yeah, but even when I'm going,
And
really
every
good,
time I
I
pull out the
almost
stick-
never do that much damage.
That's true. It might only be 6.
I feel like almost all the ones from our side are going to be either Aldrich or Osric.
But again, then there's the enemies as well, though. How
Sure,
many times do we take big
that's where the
freaking
math
hits?
is.
Well, before mitigation,
Is that before?
How
armor?
often were 5 or more points of damage dealt?
Belt. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like we don't take 5+ very often.
Yeah.
dead.
That's
Well,
it.
Yeah.
we do. It's just then that we only have
That's it.
less than that.
I'm gonna go
That
5.
episode
I
is
go 5.
over.
Oh, if I had to break them up, I would guess.
You're going 5 now?
I would guess 2 sword, 1 arrow, 2 spell for 5,
Oh, it's got to be more than that.
It's more than that.
and
I'm
0.
I'm
from
staying at
old
16.
Bessie.
Oh,
5 damage in a swing is a lot, though.
I'll
It's
go
a lot,
7.
but it happens.
I need some final answers. I've
going
got
with 10.
10 from Jim,
7.
Brian, 7, Nate,
16.
16, Dave.
5.
I think this is going to put Nate on the board.
We have a clear leader. We have a clear leader now. The correct answer is 17.
Oh no, we don't, because now
N-
Nate took
Nate-
that one.
Yeah, Nate missed it by one, but in the right direction. So that is
Oh yeah, let's go.
now. I think are we tied at one for everybody?
Everyone's at one. Yep.
Oh, Brian got two.
I should
Oh.
have two. Yeah.
Oh, okay, Brian
Oh.
has two. Okay.
Oh yeah.
That was question 4. It's a point each.
Yeah,
Or no,
but
we
we tied
just
on
tied.
one.
That's right.
Yes,
That's right. You're right. You're right. Right. Okay. Question number
You have to
5.
keep score.
And now
got
for
to
the
do-
other side. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I'm going to do the trigger question after this. For each of you, which mighty blow was so memorable that you still remember it today? So, what is the most memorable dealing of damage for each of you?
The first time Osric just cut a demon in half.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was true. That was
Yeah.
big.
Was that the Minotaur?
No,
Um,
it's Vivi's temp. The one
yeah,
that you,
yeah,
like,
it was the one in
ripped out
the
of
in the
priest.
last resort
camp.
or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, first retreat. Yeah.
Yeah, the last
Yeah.
resort.
I think it's
Papa Roach
Aldrich's-
over here.
It's Aldrich's. I've had all this willpower for a while, so I might as well start over into the boar.
Oh shit, that was a good one.
That
Yeah.
was pretty impressive.
Because
I mean,
we were swinging swords, and that boar was like having none of it. And then he's like, "Okay, fine, let's do this."
Yeah, earth shattering kaboom.
How about for you, Dave?
I would have gone with the first one, the demon that had eaten Vivi's cousin and ripped out the priest, because that was like my first game, I think, too, and it was just like,
It was pretty close. Yeah.
damn, well, right down.
Oscar can do some damage.
Yeah,
And
like
what'd
looking
you-
at my character sheet and like I do a demon's worth, but all right.
Which one did you say, Brian?
The first one in the
Yeah.
in the first retreat.
Okay, and now for the other side. This is question number 5. And now for the other side, the receiving end. So to say, Forbidden Lands is unforgiving when it comes to damage and injuries, and you all got your share, some more than others. How many critical injuries occurred in the first 29 episodes? How many times did I roll for a critical injury on one of the 4 of you?
7.
12.
Nine?
7, 9, 12.
I feel like I should do some math on this, but
Jim's going through the chat.
Oh, wait.
The roll log.
I'm like, no, I've got like, I know there's my eye, I know there's my gut, I know there's my like
Right? It just keeps
As-
happening.
as the meat shield. I feel like I have a lot of these.
Yeah, between you and me,
I have-
like we
I have
keep
the
taking hits.
These I have the- Oh. I'm gonna go 1 because I think it's under 7.
All right, so final answer. Jim is 1. Final answer, Brian.
9.
Nate.
12.
Dave.
I'll go 7 still.
Okay, one of you got it exactly right. Who was it?
Me?
Nate.
Yeah! Ooh, let's go.
The machine.
12 critical
Wow.
injuries.
Damn.
Mm.
So a follow-up question. I would love to hear everybody's thoughts about that system, right? So the system of when you run out of attributes or damage, when you run out of attribute, then you take critical. So you don't die from losing hit points. You die potentially only from critical injuries. Start with you, Brian. How do you feel about that system?
I mean, I like the system conceptually. The only thing that bothers me a little bit about it is that it seems like, when you're at a point when you are brought down, when you're broken with a stat, there's almost no chance to get away or get out of combat before the crit start happening.
True.
So
Yep.
it's and the way the dice in the system go is it goes very quickly from fine, missing an arm.
Yep.
And I wish that slope was a little shallower if I was living in a
Fair.
physical.
Fair. Nate.
Yeah, no, kind of the same boat. I mean, it's been done in other systems before. It's fine. It makes for some very engaging moments.
Mhm.
Some relevant, questions you have to ask your character.
Jim?
I really dig the this is a thing where it's it's when something gets you down to, because like if I exhaust myself I don't get a critical, and I think that's also a clever part of it.
Yep.
And to extend it into all of the actions are dangerous is a super cool little thing that I really dig.
Dave?
Yeah, I dig it. I think it's is it the most perfectest system ever? Yeah, maybe there is none because it's bad stuff for me as the PC. But dig a lot more than like say a giant HP pool. That doesn't matter.
Yeah, it definitely. I mean, I like the tension it brings. It's more forgiving than a lot of OSR is, which I like. You can get attached to your character in Forbidden Lands. You just can't get as attached as you would in 5e, right?
Yeah.
All right, question number 6. What's the score now? So we've
And
got.
there is a lucky talent if you want to fix some of
That
that
is true.
lost an arm stuff and turn it into
Mhm.
a whatever the heck's on the other end of lost an arm.
Brian and I are at 2. Dave and Jim are at 1, I believe.
All right.
If I'm not mistaken.
Forbidden Lands is unforgiving not only in considering injuries and damage, but also in succeeding at skills. The push mechanic is one of the hallmarks of the Mutant Year Zero engine and provides a second chance, but sometimes even that leads to nothing. Now for the question. This is a good one too. How often were rolls pushed in vain? Because after pushing,
Ugh.
there were still no successes.
Boy, there were like 100 in the last game.
Right?
In
Pretty
29,
much,
right?
there was a
Ugh.
bajillion of them. Oh my
Hmm.
gosh.
I don't know. I'm gonna guess 30.
And this is all the way back, right?
All 29 episodes.
I'm sorry, what'd you say again, Dave?
30. No, it's gotta be way more than that because there's gotta be more than one an episode, right? Yeah, maybe not.
Not necessarily.
It's not how many times you pushed. It's
How
how
many
many
times
did
you
you
pushed
get no,
and failed?
no
But it's
successes.
all 4 of us.
Now,
Yeah.
is it pushed for no additional successes, or
No,
pushed
wait,
and then
Pushed
failed?
or
Zero.
no successes.
Still no successes after the push.
Yeah, goose egg after 2 shots.
I think that's going to be lower.
Yeah, I'm going a solid 20. That's where I'm at.
Mm,
I don't know if it's right, but it's what's in my heart.
oh. I'm gonna go 15.
2015.
Ten.
2015 and 10. Dave.
12, actually. Excuse me.
10. All right.
I'm gonna revise to a Swiss cheesy 21.
2015, 12, and 21. The highest guess comes from Dave, and it is half the answer. So Dave gets the
Wow.
point.
Yeah.
The correct answer
Wow.
is 49 times.
Yeah, I thought it was a
Jeez.
lot.
Whoa.
And I thought it was a lot, and I'm like, 30, and then you go, all or win. I'm like, I guess I'll. Yeah.
All
Oh
right.
my God.
So the follow-up optional question will go to you, Dave, and then we'll have everybody else answer. How do you feel about the pushing mechanic? Like, don't like?
Oh, I dig it. Super dig. Like I think it's like I think the damage system doesn't make sense without the push system. So I really dig it.
Jim?
I like that it matters.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it is part of what makes every action scary and dangerous, right? If you didn't get an attribute success, you could be out of the game on your next if you push. Like that's how it works, and that's the thing.
Brian?
Yeah, 100%. It's the heart of the game.
Nate?
Yep. And just like oh man, there's already a Bane there, but like I can use some willpower. I'm a wizard.
I love the
really need
I just fill that up.
yeah, I love the tie to willpower.
Yep.
Yep.
And from a GM perspective, a couple things. One, something I encounter all the time in GM chats on this game is just like there. So many GMs are concerned about people farming willpower, and I am on the other side of that argument every time. I'm like, guys, give them the willpower. Trust me, they're going to use it up, and trust me, they're going to cherish and they're going to be. It will. If you're worried about willpower being cheap, then I don't know if you're playing the game I'm playing, because
It's an economy.
What's the point of not giving it to them? Like
Yeah.
the whole point is
but-
like you can't do your racial without it.
Yeah, if you're playing this game right,
class talents you can't do without it. Like it's
Yeah.
it's
The
the
demand
engine.
is
It makes
high.
it go.
And there's a
it's
risk
an,
to
it's an
push.
economy.
Yeah, there's a risk to pushing. So I have no issue with it whatsoever. The other thing I'll offer for GMs listening is incorporate descriptions to the push, though, because I think that makes it not just mechanical. Like what is that push? What does that push look like? I think that enhances the mechanic personally.
And what the damage looks like too. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, and I love that, right? You take 2 wits damage. Why? Why did that damage your wits? Why did that damage your empathy? Why did it damage your strength? All right, last question. Question number 7. Obviously, and unsurprisingly, Marigold plays a big part in the campaign, and she has appeared several times during the entire campaign. The name Marigold was uttered in episode 10 for the first time when the party visited Amber's Peak. But how often was the name Marigold uttered in total during the course of the 29 episodes? So it's not really 29, right? So the first time we heard the name was in 10.
Y'all did
That's
work.
20 episodes
No
ago.
shit, right? Like I cannot believe
Fucking hell.
I cannot
Y'all
believe that
crazy.
the two of them did this.
think you've
It
done
is one of the
more work.
biggest compliments
All right.
that this stream could ever get.
Real. Good God.
How many times?
And Lazy Pragmatic, who's one of the heroes here, clarifies not appearance, mention.
Names.
Just
yeah.
the name.
Drops.
I'll go
26.
45.
45,
It
26.
totally counts when we all mispronounce it, right? Those count.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mary gal. Myrtle.
What if we just refer to them in general? Like,
Like the golden
golden
eyed
eyed
lady.
one.
Does that
No, I
count?
think by name is pretty specific here.
It
Okay,
is
I'm
good.
sorry. Someone gave a guess.
45 for me, like 20,
26.
26 for
45.
Neat.
26. It's only
apparently
it's
it
only
is written
19
on Brian's
episodes?
ceiling.
Yeah, that's where I keep all my notes.
Nice. I'm glad you're taking notes of how many times we said Marigold.
That's
weird.
so
Useful
Rosu, one
information.
of the other heroes of tonight, is fun fact: as Marigold is not a Z name, it was only mispronounced once.
You know, honestly, for
Bonus
real
point,
though.
it had to have been me. So
Fair. Very fair. Goddamn.
Did everybody guess?
no.
No, Jim is Jimming.
I'm trying to wait Jim out.
I'm gonna say
You-
30
ever-
and split the difference.
Everybody gets a revision.
Mm-hmm.
Sticking with 26.
19 episodes. One of those was probably. What's the high guess? 44 right now? 40?
45 is what.
45? I'm going to go 46. I feel like when we say it a lot.
You're not wrong.
So final answer is 46. Jim,
I'm at 30.
30. Dave,
I think I said 40 or whatever. I said off
45
the
is I
top of my
think because I think
Yeah.
45
I
is
think
what I have you down for.
yeah.
That's fine.
And then Nate,
26.
26.
I was afraid we were going to have a tie, but we do not have a tie. If I am keeping correct here, because the answer is 63 times,
Whoa!
which puts Brian. I think that puts you at
Oh,
3 points, which
big
is winning,
winner.
right?
Three
Woo!
versus two
Big
versus
winner
two versus
with
two, right?
3.
God dang.
Wow.
I'd like to thank
63
the Academy.
times.
That's nuts. The only
That's
thing
too
more
many.
nuts than saying that 63 times is counting
Oh,
63
I know.
times.
I mean,
Right?
I guess it's really only like 3 times an episode.
But we don't say it 3 times an episode.
Yeah, but whenever
When we do, we talk about it a lot.
Craig always describes her by name and mentions her by name. And Marvel
Yeah.
says this. And,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I think probably like
So
45 of those 63 are from Craig.
And we also like she gets talked about a lot in the afters
Yeah.
of things, right? Like,
Mhm.
where's Mary?
Yeah.
What is she doing, right? What is what's she
Yeah.
doing with the egg, or what's she doing with the dragon, or what's she doing with the mines? You know, she's
Right.
always out there causing trouble.
That she is. That she is. Nate, why don't you start the plugs?
Again, for the Malifaux folks, check out Steam Powered Scoundrels. Should be talking about Gen Con here pretty soon. It was good, so look forward to that and see you around.
And how do we find it?
On whatever podcatcher, just look for Steam Powered Scoundrels, and
All
you'll
right.
hear the cursed call of our horrible voices.
And Brian, you've got a plug.
I do, but it's not the one you think it is.
Ooh.
Everybody's heard me talk about my board game podcast before, so I'm not going to get into that. I don't know how many people who are watching this are really into board games, but I do know people that like this are into actual plays. So I'm just going to throw this out there. If you have not seen, and people have a lot of opinions about Critical Role one way or another. If you have not seen Exandria Calamity, it is like a 4-episode series that Brennan Lee Mulligan runs on that channel. It is the best actual play I have ever seen. And
Damn.
you should go watch it.
And do you realize how huge it is for Critical Role to get a plug from us?
Their numbers are going to spike like crazy.
I expect Mulligan
You
to be
could watch
emailing
this
me in the morning.
right now. It's Thursday. You could be watching Critical Role
It's
right
Thursday night.
Oof.
Jim, what do you want to plug, buddy?
now. I will plug 3 Minute and a War Game. It's a super cool little podcast where my buddies talk about war games.
Uncle Dave?
Foxtail Games of Maeve runs that from Brindlewood Bay and former Vasilla Glory. Currently, we're playing in a Slayers game that I'm in, and I get to be the grumpy old man this time.
Yay, grumpy old man.
All right. My plug is for Sunday, the 27th. You're going to see some familiar faces, at least 2 of them, but the seats are going to be flipped because Brian is going to start us off on what is potentially going to rival Forbidden Lands in number of episodes. We're going to start some Trail of Cthulhu with a very famous, well-known campaign. And I cannot wait to play. We have got an unbelievable cast doing this. And anybody who has seen Brian on this channel run a game knows it's going to be awesome. And then on the 31st, we are finally going to find out what happened with the flashbangs. We're going to get another episode of Night's Black Agents, my one-on-one with Zoe.
Nice.
That was a lot of fun. Again, Rosu and Lazy Pragmatic, thank you guys.
Yeah,
Like,
thanks,
I
guys.
just
Absolutely.
Crazy.
wow, unbelievable, absolutely
Ridiculous.
unbelievable that you
Absurd.
guys did that. And don't miss episode 31 because we're gonna see Nate, but we're not gonna see Aldrich. Take care, everybody. Howdy, friends. Thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Take care.